Shining and making a mockery of scoring charts and all the ensuing records, Kylian Mbappe has proven that he's no more a wunderkind, a term that is casually thrown around these days as a testament to a young player's ability to become a huge star in the coming years. Over the years, a lot of young players have been considered the next big thing in the game, but only a few have maintained the levels of consistency that require a player to become one of the greatest of all time. When he won the Golden Boy award a few years ago, Kylian Mbappe was a teenager who only had a lot more to prove. While he did score a lot of goals in Ligue for both AS Monaco and then PSG, and formed a fearsome attack with Neymar, the Frenchman needed to win something of far greater significance than the Ligue title, which has become a rather pedestrian feat for the capital club these days. Then came the 2018 World Cup in Russia. France were one of the many teams expected to go deep into the competition. Germany were expected to defend their crown, while England's young squad was supposed to do well also. Argentina and Brazil were naturally expected to do well, but in the end, France prevailed and lifted their second World Cup title. During the whole tournament, Mbappe put in assured displays and even scored a goal in the final against Croatia. These were exactly the sorts of performances that were required to propel Mbappe's status as an elite forward. Fast forward 2 years, and the youngster has now also featured in a Champions League final. Although PSG lost to Bayern Munich and Mbappe was average, it's clear that the France international is the chosen one, and is set to enjoy an illustrious career at the very top. And in order to do so, and really test all sorts of waters, Mbappe needs to leave France eventually. According to reports, the youngster hasn't shown any inclination towards extending his sojourn at Parc des Princes. Although the Ligue giants will want to keep hold of him, Nasser Al-Khelaifi and company know that eventually the youngster will want to experience something different in his career. And who can blame him? He's won everything in France, and winning the Champions League title is the only thing left. Winning the Ballon d'Or while at PSG seems to be a very difficult thing, and if he wants to win that prestigious award, Mbappe will have to sign for a much bigger club. For a number of years, Real Madrid have been eager to bring the young striker to Santiago Bernabeu. Florentino Perez is a huge fan of the French protégé and also sees him as the crown jewel of his next installment at the Galacticos story. Luka Jovic was brought to the club a couple of years ago, but the young Serbian has been unable to make any contribution and has been goal-shy to say the least. Similarly, Real Madrid splurged a lot of money on Eden Hazard, eyeing the Belgian as the heir to Cristiano Ronaldo, whose goals propelled the club to several domestic and continental accolades. Following the legendary Portuguese forward's departure, Madrid have not had a player who would promise them 30-plus goals a week. Reportedly, Florentino Perez has informed Zidane that Luka Jovic will be holding on to the iconic number 9 shirt at the Santiago Bernabeu until the Frenchman's arrival. Zidane is a huge fan of the France international and has been quietly trying to entice his fellow countrymen into joining him in Spain. And Mbappe, for his part, has reportedly told the legendary player that he sees his future in the Spanish capital. And it's not as if Mbappe and Zidane are the only two men wanting this to happen. Former France international and Arsenal legend Robert Pires also believes that Kylian Mbappe will be achieving great things in his career if he were to sign for Real Madrid. At present, PSG have been trying to tie him down to a new long-term deal, but so far, Mbappe hasn't made any decisions. Signals coming out from the players' camp seem to suggest that Mbappe has already made up his mind and doesn't see himself playing for Les Parisiens for very long. While he does have a contract that wouldn't expire until 2022, PSG are also aware that they can't risk allowing a player of his status leave on a free transfer. So, if it eventually becomes perfectly clear that Mbappe doesn't want to extend his stay at Parc des Princes, the Parisians will have no other option but to start listening to offers for their speedster. At present, PSG have some really exciting options up front. Mauro Icardi has shown great adaptation and the Argentine has done well whenever called upon. Moise Kean joined on loan from Everton after struggling to adapt to the Premier League. The young Italian has, however, settled in quite nicely and has already started scoring goals. Neymar wanted to leave for Barcelona, but with the current financial climate and the Catalan Giants' financial worries, a return to Camp Nou is out of the question. Real Madrid, on the other hand, will have no financial concerns to tackle after they generated enough cash in the transfer market and chose not to spend big in the summer. Perez knows that some of the players need to be allowed to leave before the club can finance a move for Mbappe. Isco is already a reported target for Everton, while Luka Jovic might also be sold. Gareth Bale is on loan at Tottenham, while Mariano Diaz is expected to leave during the January transfer window. So if you look at Real Madrid's transfer activity so far this year, it appears that they are already setting plans in motion as they seek to welcome Kylian Mbappe to Santiago Bernabeu. However, Madrid might face some resistance from other clubs. Liverpool in particular are huge admirers of the French international and Mbappé has at times professed his admiration for the way Jurgen Klopp's side play. The Reds boast a great attacking trident in the shape of Mohamed Salah, Sadio Mane and Roberto Firmino, but eventually Klopp would need to bring in some serious competition. Moreover, players do go through issues such as lack of form, so if either of these three start struggling, the club as a whole would struggle in attack. Liverpool, just like Real Madrid, decided not to go for a massive spending spree in the transfer market, but maybe next year they would like to bring in a few changes to the squad. The current campaign has been fraught with difficulty for the German tactician. With Van Dijk out with a long-term injury, the Reds' main task will be to bring in a new centre-back in January, but that doesn't mean they won't look at the option of signing someone like Mbappé, who's definitely ready for the next stage in his career. However, at this point in time, it still appears that Real Madrid are the heavy favourites to land the striker's services. Mbappé is a big fan of Zidane and would love to link up with the man whom he idolised growing up. Moreover, there aren't a lot of players on the planet who can fill in the void left by Ronaldo's departure. Madrid haven't had a truly global star since then. Apart from banging in the goals, Mbappé has become one of the biggest players in the game today, so a move to Madrid makes a lot of sense. Nonetheless, we still have to wait and see how things pan out. PSG have proven to be quite stubborn negotiators when it comes to allowing their best players to leave. Neymar wanted to leave, but PSG's stance made it very difficult for Barcelona to do anything about it. Eventually, La Blaugrana was forced into settling for Antoine Griezmann. Also, PSG are unlikely to let go of Mbappé next summer if they can't find a suitable replacement. You can bet your savings that the sporting director, Leonardo, will already be drawing out a list of potential replacements and contacting their agents, Ligue and the club, so it would definitely be unwise of the club to let him leave without making any contingency plans. If he finally decides not to renew his contract at PSG, Mbappé will command a fee of at least €100 million. Real Madrid will definitely look to go for a player plus cash deal as well, since they have quite a few players whom they'd like to get off their books. The ball would then be in PSG's court, and should Leonardo decide to see if any of the Madrid players suit the club, then a deal could happen. For Madrid, paying Mbappé a hefty salary won't be an issue. The next Galacticos project promises to be an interesting one. Madrid are keen on signing not only Mbappé but also René's teen protege Eduardo Camavinga. The 17-year-old midfielder has a huge potential to become a big name in the coming years, and Madrid want the youngster to be part of their future. Similarly, they're also looking at RB Leipzig's Dayot Upamecano as a long-term replacement for Sergio Ramos. The young Frenchman is doing all the right things in Europe, but is also attracting interest from Man United. But the appeal of Real Madrid may be too hard to ignore. The next version of Real Madrid seems to be dominated by players who started their careers in Ligue 1, just like Zinedine Zidane. Kylian Mbappe is likely to be leading the charge in the new revolution, but would he arrive next year or as a free agent is what remains to be decided.